Hello, Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas. Today's date, it's August 8th of 2020. It's almost 2 a.m. in the morning. I'm going to go to bed here in a little bit. Yesterday, I, Hillary, my daughter, took me over to the cardiologist's office for my check because the battery is in low range or whatever. I was notified after a month ago or so. I did the scan that I've been doing every 3 months that I do, and they called me. First time they ever contacted me after they called and said that the battery was low and I would need to come into the office, So, and they made an appointment, and I canceled that appointment. Made a later appointment, and then so yesterday I went in and they did an EKG, and then they also did the scan. And then I talked actually to nurse practitioner, I guess. And well, of course, there was a I'm not sure what, nurse's aide or LPN or what, that took my temp. Yeah, I didn't take my temperature. They already had that because when they come into the building or whatever, and weight and that type of stuff. And I'd already online done all the information about my medications, that type of stuff. So then I talked to the nurse practitioner, and she outlined and I said, well, when do I have to have the new battery put in? How much time do I have? And she said, well, probably the max would be 10 months, but we don't want to go right up to the last minute, And so I said, well, how about I have it done in 3 months? And, she talked about the steps and everything that they're taking to make sure that, that none of the employees, have the virus, and that the patients that are having this type of procedure done are kept in one unit, and of course we're checked, make sure we don't have the virus. So trying to reassure me on that regard. And really, I'm not really worried about having you always worry a little tiny bit. There's a 1% chance of an infection. Although they go to elaborate stages. A few days before, I think the day before, I go in and they give me in an IV some antibiotics or something or other. But before that, I know for 3 days I have to do 100% body wash from neck down. But the special, I get a prescription for that. I can't reach 100% of my body. I'll just have to figure something out. I can't even see my feet or my penis. Well, my feet I can see if I'm sitting down or whatever. Have trouble getting to my feet, but I can see them if I'm sitting down. So there's a bunch of stuff like that. But I'm going to go in November 5th at 6 a.m. At 8 a.m. they'll take me to surgery. Then they'll put me on the unit and observe me, in a regular patient's room. And unless there's a problem, I'll go home in the afternoon. But if something pops up, then they would keep me even overnight. They would even keep me if necessary. But I think like probably most of us, not concerned about the battery replacement. I'm worried about, getting the virus. And also the nurse practitioner mentioned, okay, well, doing it in November, that's when the flu will be coming around. So you might think about, do you want to do it before that? And I kind of want to put it off for a while. I said I'll get the flu shot as soon as it's, available. So that's what's going to. So I think I've got a. Where would that be? Here's pictures of me at the, at the doctor's office. Actually, this is outside the. Well, none of them are. Well, wait a minute. Well, wait a minute. Yeah, it doesn't matter where they're taken, but actually, I think I look better with a mask on. Uh, I don't like the mask though. It's um, I have more difficulty. I think subconsciously or I think I have been sort of not lip reading, but when I have that mask on, well, it's not when I have the mask on, but when the other person has the mask on, I'm having more difficulty hearing what they say. I have some hearing loss in both ears. Not some, I have a lot. So, uh, no, that's not what I wanted. Okay. Um, as you see, I'm still. Actually, I hate to admit this because I've done it so many times. I kept messing with my PC desktop, and now I deliberately wiped out Windows. That was my intention. But then I had two versions of Linux on the computer, and then I was trying to replace one of them and keep Mint because I set some things, got stuff installed and arranged and that kind of stuff. I ended up messing up the root directory, and I had to format the entire thing, and I reinstalled uh, Mint, but I don't have everything the way I did before. Well, and before I hadn't got to the point where I had everything the way it should be. I was some back cuts, sort of the beginning. But I'm running Lent. Not Easter, it's not Lent. No, it's Mint. There we go. Um, I well, when I messed up my PC, I went ahead and installed for a while, a day, my Chromebox again and updated it. And then I hooked a few hours ago this back up and started working on it. So I'm using Mint. Uh, the picture you see of me is using Cheese, the program Cheese, Linux program Cheese. Um, I've only got one of the webcams hooked up. And I'm not sure, this is a C920 that I'm using, and I've got it on my new desktop little, tripod thing there. Not sure if I'm going to hook the Brio Logitech cam back up or not. It, you know, my philosophy is keep it simple, but I do like to play with things. Now it's today because it's the 8th. I should get my, I think I'm not sure if I told you or not that I logged into a few days ago to Google Fi, and with the cell phone that I have, it's one of the phones that is eligible to use that Google Fi service. And so I ordered from them the SIM card to go in my phone, because at this point I got 15 more days until my current internet or my current cell phone will kick out, will take out of my account the 3 months. So I was hoping to get, anyway, I ordered, and they sent it, Google sent it FedEx, and I have problems. We order a lot of stuff in here. We don't have a car. And like everybody else, I think, please, if you can, use my Amazon link below if you're going to purchase something from Amazon. I get a small commission. But order a lot of stuff. We order about once a week now. Groceries from Walmart that are delivered. We don't, like I said, we don't have a car. But for a long time, not just because of the virus, but FedEx, we have Amazon delivery delivering for us. We have these different, and so I get orders from UPS and FedEx and whatever. FedEx is, I hate to see anything coming FedEx. Now here, it used to be that packages could be left at the office. The office would accept packages, but now because of the virus thing, they don't accept packages. But even when, before the virus and everything, FedEx would generally come in and leave stuff at the office. And I can understand why. I mean, it was easy. This is a little gated community, and it's much easier just to put all the packages there. And sometimes, like a couple of large TVs, what else? Different items, they left at the office. And then my son and I had to go down, and we've got a cart, but we had to go down and bring them up here, where they could have just come to the door. And two, what they do is, what they did the other day is, so anyway, a SIM coming from, Google for free. They shipped it FedEx. And as soon as I saw they were shipping it FedEx, I thought, this is not it. And so the day of the delivery, that it was out for delivery or whatever, there was 3 of us here. And I was doing a tracking of it. And we were listening for anybody to knock on the door. No knock on the door. And then it showed that it was delivered here at the door. There was no package at the door. And what FedEx does a lot is, I don't think they even come to the door. They just will sometimes say they knocked on the door, and nobody, they just don't knock on the door because they don't want to deliver, But now that the office isn't accepting, and they so anyway, they said they delivered it. They didn't. So I called Google and got somebody, on the chat thing, and they said, "Oh, we'll take care of you," and everything like that. I I said, I said I'm willing to pay a small. I said, you guys sent it FedEx, and I said I'm not. I don't mind paying a small fee. And the person said, you can order from Amazon or get it from Best Buy or whatever. And I said I forgot that. I checked. I said I remember now checking, but I thought it would be better to get it right direct from you. But I said yeah, and the guy said if you order from Amazon, it's $10, and then as soon as you put the chip in there and take the service, you get a $10 credit. And I said, that's what I'll do. Thank you very much. So that's what I did, and now it's out for well, it's not out for delivery yet, but it's here in Fort Worth, and I should get it today. And it's only 9 more days till my current internet or my current cell phone. Uh, so that'll give me a couple of days to try it. I'm sure it's going to work for me. Then I can cancel the other, and then I'll see how it works out. But if you're expecting me to give like a review, or I don't I don't get out very often. Uh, Not enough that I can test this, the service. Uh, but I mean, I'll tell you in videos how it's going, how anything different or whatever. But so also I mentioned that our ice maker, a little portable, plugs into AC, but it makes enough ice for us. And but the first one we ordered lasted a year and a half. Then we ordered another one that lasted a year. Then I ordered one from Amazon, and I got that thing which I've been getting recently with some things of shipped, and then but no tracking. And then it's the day it's supposed to arrive. It'll say I forget what it says, and it'll show its new delivery date. A few days away. And then then if you don't, you get the opportunity to cancel. But then it did that, and I stayed with it. I didn't cancel, and it gave a new delivery date a couple of days away, and we waited for it, and then it did the same thing. It says like, I'm not sure if it ever said out for delivery, but I think it just said the delivery date was that date. So then all of a sudden, bang, the thing changes, and it's a new date for delivery, and a message from them, you can cancel if you want, So I canceled, and the ex-wife ordered from Walmart, and it should come today. It's supposed to come today. So looking forward to it, because I usually drink out of a glass or some different thing. I don't like hot Coke, and it gets really warm, without ice. So hopefully later today we will have ice available for us. This time we took out a policy, because the policy was cheaper. I think the thing might have only been $20 for 2 years or whatever. Warranty or something. I don't normally do that, but we see that the lifespan of these is about a year or a year and a half. But I usually don't buy warranties for things. The few times I have, it generally hasn't worked out. I have a chair. This one needs to be replaced too. It's black fake leather stuff just falls off in little flakes or whatever sticks to my shirt, my clothing, my legs, and what have you. And then I forget now what's not working with this chair. It's always something. Uh, and I have bought some chairs that were like $350. I've bought several that are like 150 or whatever, and none of them hold up. Uh, but what I've run into with these warranty policies is, what was it? That was it. It was a chair, and I took out the warranty on the thing, and the wheel broke, and so I called the number, and they said, "Oh, what? You're still the chair is still in warranty for 1 year or whatever it is with the company, so you have to deal with them." But actually, I called the company, and uh, they sent me a part right away. I told them what part it was, and they sent me actually, I told them the wrong part, but that's because I'm stupid. But they sent me the wrong part right away. Um, the next time I order a chair, I weigh 240 pounds. I think the chairs are usually 300 pounds. I see that they have, and they're not much more expensive. They have some chairs that are, guaranteed to 500 pounds. I think I'm going to try one of those because my hope is that if they're making it for people that are a lot heavier, maybe the cylinder, maybe the handles, and maybe all this, maybe it'll be a little bit, maybe they'll use stronger metal and whatever. I still expect, that the fabric is going to be like every other one. Uh, so if you people would use that link and buy a whole bunch of stuff from Amazon, maybe I could afford a chair that was real leather. They might hold up. So what else? Um, this phone is going to have okay. This is the Motorola G Power, and it just happens that these I'm not all Motorola, I don't think, but uh, they do work with Google Fi service. So I hope that see how it works out. The amount I should be paying should be a lot less because I use this 99% of the time just at home, Wi-Fi, and I just never get out. So we'll see. Actually, I wouldn't even know how to find it. There's a thing on here that shows me how much uh, data I've used, not counting Wi-Fi, like phone service data, and it's very, very low. But I'm paying like, what is it, 30 a month or something. Forget what it is. So we'll see if I'm really just going for inexpensive. Uh, I hope that Biden picks the right vice presidential candidate. Warren would be who I'd want, but there are a bunch of people with money who, oh man, they would hate it. They just, I told you the whole story about that, about her and college professor, and then she predicted the big crash that was coming. Not this big crash, but the one before, one during the Cheney, Bush Cheney. And I mean, she didn't just pick it out of the, she told what all the, what was being done that caused it. And I guess I'm going to tell you the story again. I'll abbreviate it. And it happened, and she had called for regulation of the financial industry, the banks and the stockbrokers and all that type of stuff, and explained, why in her university papers or whatever. And so anyway, we bailed out, the U.S. government bailed out the banks, and no bankers went to jail or whatever, the banks and the stock market and, all that type, bailed them all out. And they agreed, oh yes, the changes need to be made. Yes, we didn't do anything wrong, but, yes, changes do need to be made. And so Congress voted an agency to regulate them. And immediately then, because they got their money and they were bailed out, immediately the Republicans were, oh no regulation, no control, and anyway, she was appointed as head of the agency, the agency. And the business people and bankers and those just went crazy. They hated her, and now she was in charge. They had attacked her in the past, and here she was in charge of the agency, which was going to enforce these rules on them, which they didn't want. So the Republicans castrated the agency, cut its staff. Congress passed, I'm not sure whether it would be exactly the legislation or but what they did was say you can't regulate. I mean, you can't enforce it, you can't issue new regulations, and then when she was there and she really couldn't do anything, and when they had totally gone back to their old way of doing things, they were so happy and just so happy that they had neutralized her. And then she ran for United States Senate and got elected. And then they were, and so if Biden picks her, they're going to be pissed. I don't think they really like Trump. I think they're worried. Look around, I think they're worried. But they might pump a lot of money, if she'd just be the vice president. But I just think that I think she'd be the best person. But on the other hand, there'd be a lot of opposition against her, and the Republicans would be saying, oh, they're already calling, Biden a communist and a socialist and all this stuff. So with her on the running ticket, although people don't really pay attention, to the vice president, but it would be, do we want to go through that? So there are some, I I wish that we do need to have a female president sometime. Hell, I mean, we'd have to change our constitution, our whole way of doing. I would be perfectly. Of course, I'm not going to be around very long. I'm 79. I'd be perfectly happy, if we constitutionally did it, change the Constitution of the United States and make that the half of the House of Representatives has to be female. Of course, I'm not sure you'd have, or make it where it has to be female and racially, what, at least 10%. What is the black population 10%? I don't know. If it is, 10% has to, just do something like that. Leave the Senate alone, I would say, and do something with the House. Make it half of the representatives have to be female, and even go in there maybe and do probably a bad idea for that, but so I don't have a problem with provided we provided we don't do it the way by if as long as we get together and agree on a good way to do it, and then pass it legally and do it legally, or change the Constitution. I used to be totally opposed to changing the Constitution, and now I've changed my mind. We need to change it. Get money out of politics. Make it illegal to give money to a member of Congress. We'll pay for let the government pay for the election and for advertising for them and whatever. But on the other hand, you have these corporations, and we know how much they donate. Well, let's say that the American Hospital Association spends every election, every 4-year election, they get, well, let's say take the 4-year election. Let's say that they spend $150 million giving to politicians, and I'm just making these numbers up, and running ads themselves, for their causes. Say they spend $150 million, and they do it gladly every 4 years. Okay, well, just tax them $50 million. They're saving $100 million right there. Take $50 million, and that goes into the fund. And then you do the same with with the pharmaceutical companies and with all of these, Now, I'm not saying you do that with, mom and pop businesses or little small businesses or anything like that. I'm talking about these ones, the National Rifle Association, American Hospital Association, on and on you go. Also, of course, people are going to hate this, but I think any religious organization should be required. They're not supposed to do it right now. They're not supposed to be doing politicking, but they do, and they get totally away. They totally get away with it. I think what we ought to do is, if you're a church and and you engage in politics, then you pay taxes. So, I mean, we could do stuff like, and the money could go, and that would take care of the, and then it would be against the law to hand a congressman $1, But no matter when you try something like this, they're going to figure a way to get around it, with what, Newt, the Republican Speaker of the House, I forget the exact details. Basically, I guess what it is he wrote a book, or somebody wrote a book, for him, and his name was on it, like Trump, like a guy wrote, Trump's book that he likes is The Art of the Deal or something or other. Trump didn't write it. A ghostwriter. I think everybody knows who wrote it. The name is not, it's come out. But what they did with Newt was he wrote a book, and they didn't try to sell the book. Of course, they gave it away to, because it didn't cost them anything. But uh, Republican right-wing groups just bought tons of the books, and they would give them away. I guess you would go into any of their office, they'd say, "Hey, take this," "Hey, we got a ton of," or they might have taken them out to the dumpster and just dumped it. So they were putting just money directly into Newt's pocket. That's one way they do it. So whatever kind of laws we write, oh my God, you're going to have to figure, like these, speaking fees. I would say normally, okay, if some politician, travels to Kansas City, Missouri and talks before, I don't know, University of Missouri law class or something or other, yeah, you should, give him some money and pay for the, but on the other hand, they do that. They just rack up, especially like ex-presidents, and I just don't know how you get around. They are going to screw us no matter what. And how you can write, actually, whatever law you put into effect, it may work a little bit, and then what you got to do is go back to it, and then when you see the problems that see how they're getting around it, you have to go back and change that and change that. The problem is we have a two-party system. Let's say the Democrats are in power. Let's say they do something really major along that line of whatever. Then as soon as the Republicans come to power, they'll undo everything they can. And anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'm going to get to bed here, and sometime today my SIM card will get here and I can have cold Coke. I mean, I have a little refrigerator in here, and we have a refrigerator there. But, like our refrigerator, of course, here, it doesn't have an ice machine in it or anything. It has a freezer, but it's filled with stuff that, it's filled with stuff. No room for an ice cube tray. Anyway, thank you very much for watching.